Hi there, my name is Ryan Vickers. I'm the creative consultant here on Pop Whiz, and welcome to Pop Whiz After Show. You've just watched episode 4 of Pop Whiz, which this week in Stratford, Ontario. And with me today is Cris. Cris, can you introduce where you're from?
Hi, my name is Cris Cabrera. I currently am living and I'm from Windsor, Essex, Ontario.
Excellent. And you were a contestant in this episode, correct?
Yes.
So I'm curious just to start out. Welcome, by the way. Thank you for joining us. How did you end up finding out about the show to be a contestant?
So I have a membership to this casting website, Project Casting, and I usually look through the Canadian part because especially with COVID, it's not super easy to go to the United States.
I can't imagine.
Yeah, even if got a job. And while scrolling through the Canada filter, I saw there was Pop Whiz and I saw I was in the age range for it. So I said, why not? I'll check this out.
And I have to say, based on what I've seen all the season of the contestants, I would say arguably you might have been the person that trekked the farthest to get on our show. Because Windsor to Stratford is not, that's not a 20-minute drive. That's what, 3 hours maybe to get there?
Yeah, around. But we were going on a road trip anyway.
So it worked out. Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Well, not that you wouldn't have otherwise. As someone who has flown to be on game shows personally, I totally get there's that commitment kind of thing. So
I would totally fly to be on a show.
Yeah, you'll. Well, I'm hoping this is the first of many. My hope is, in 20 years. Oh, that's right. That's Cris. She was on that show I helped make a number of years ago. So we'll get you going that way with your game show career. What did you think when you arrived to set? You see this tent, and then you're thrust into this tent, and there is something called the quiz cube. How did you sort of approach that? Because for those of you who don't know at home, the contestants don't really get a lot of time on set before they're in the quiz cube. So part of that is, we want to have the full experience and not necessarily feel like you've been there like it's your old cottage home.
Yeah. Well, I got to set and I had just driven from London to Stratford and I was just a little tired because it was the morning. Got there, signed a couple
How dare we
things,
make
got
teenagers
free
get
t-shirt.
up? I'm glad you're enjoying it. So
Yeah, I got my shirt, and after everything was explained and I got in there, I already love filmmaking and the whole special effects thing. Like next year when I go to college or university, I want to go to film school and do film production or film studies. And I walk in there, I see these amazing cameras. I see that there's an actual crew of people, even though it was small because COVID.
Restrictions, everything.
And the flashing lights of the cube, I was mesmerized. Even in the episode, I just have this giant grin on my face for the first half.
You know what? I did notice that, it just, you seemed really happy to be there.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that, especially if someone who's interested in film studies, that it's the on camera, but also the off camera, you had that great experience.
Yeah, I saw the whole rigging that you had on the camera that could move. I was just I want to work with these cameras at some point. I want to do something with this kind of rigging.
Oh, that's great. I know that we were pretty lucky. We were a small crew, but lucky to have an awesome crew that were just great people and getting to work with great equipment as well. Did you so you went in the first round, you say about your grin and everything. I just noticed there was some real excitement, things. You got a question that aired about Anne with an E being Anne of Green Gables. Are you a big Anne of Green Gables fan?
I actually just bought the entire series at a thrift store for $10, which is one of the greatest moments of my life, that I was able to buy an entire book series that has the exact same spine because it was a box collection for $10. I actually bought it for my mom because she was the one who was reading the books and I'm gonna borrow them when she's done. But I watched the show. I watched one of the old movies when I was a kid and I just knew the story. I went to PEI actually with my family. Oh, you
have been to the Anne of Green Gables house and everything?
Yeah, there's a picture of my mom in one of those cardboard cutout where the
put your head
cut out.
Yeah.
And she's actually in there and she looks like Anne of Green Gables. And I just remember we actually have a little jar of PEI sand that we definitely did not steal from the beaches.
Excellent. Happy to hear that. We don't want to promote this on this podcast or the show, clearly. So, no.
At all, no.
No.
But yeah, so we do not have that. And I was just like, oh, the red sand. So when I was watching Anne with an E, because my friends got me into it, I already knew the story. So I was like, oh, why would I want to watch a show that I already know the story of? But the thing is that the movies that I would see, or that the one that I saw, it really told the story of only like the first 2 episodes of Anne with an E. So then I start watching the show, I get to learn more, and I absolutely loved it. Like, it's
I you know what, that makes me happy as someone who likes to support Canadian television initiatives, especially. Fun little fact: I have a friend whose name is Anne, and her husband's name is Gilbert, and they went and saw Anne of Green Gables and PEI, and they were pointed out in the crowd. And for those of you who don't know, Anne and Gilbert are 2 of the main characters.
They are endgame. They are the ship. They're amazing.
Nice. Now I have a question. So between you filming and not filming, apart from round 1, we have a situation where you sit in one area, you come into a quiz cube, and then you go sit in another area. So we don't want people give away the answers, obviously. Does one size up their competition based on the results they've had at that point? Friendly, obviously, right?
Well, I mean, we were all just kind of like, we're all super nervous because we want to move on to the next round. But so when you're waiting to go into the quiz cube, you are just kind of looking around like, do I talk to these people? Do I not? Because no one really knows each other. And then you go into the quiz cube. It's like a bizarre experience because you're like so excited, but you're also super like nervous. And you're like racking your brain and making sure that you answer all of these quickly and that you actually answer, because if you don't, you lose points. But then when you leave, there's just this sense of like, I finished. Okay. Doesn't matter.
And hopefully that's good enough.
I finished it. I answered. So yeah. And then we would all, me and the rest of the contestants that were done, we would talk like, oh, how many did you get wrong? Because we don't remember how many we got right. We only remember how many we got wrong, because that's when like, the big red.
You always remember the ones you get wrong, don't you?
And then we would all talk like, oh yeah, which one did you get wrong? Like with, well, everyone already saw the episode if they're watching this, but with the Sephora question, I said Germany when it was France. And I was just like, I don't know anything. Like, I love.
But it's an European country. So it's an educated guess, right? You might as well guess something. And that's part of the fun, as we found with the show, is that when people make their best guesses and they're not totally certain, and their faces, like yours did in this episode, just light up.
It was just like, is something, and then it goes green. It's just like.
Were you surprised to make it to round 2?
I was hoping to make it to round 2, but I wasn't sure. But when we were talking, I was like talking to other people, and I was like, maybe I made it, maybe I didn't.
And the thing is, we should explain for the reveal, it's all done in random order. So at no point was it you were the first one to qualify, you were the 5th one to qualify. Now, I'm guessing if you're a film person, the fact that when we asked you a question about Lin-Manuel Miranda and you lit up saying Hamilton, I'm assuming you're a Hamilton buff then?
I have a calendar of Hamilton right now. Angelica is February.
Are you planning to see it when it gets back to our neck of the woods?
I really hope so. Like, I want to go to just see a bunch of like musicals and theater on Broadway, but I don't have that money.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Well, I have heard that Hamilton will make its way back to Toronto in a couple of years. I was lucky enough to see it about 2 weeks before everything shut down. Just very random, and it is worth the wait. So you're going to love it, Cris, when you get to see it. I love too the fact that, I don't know if you're a sports person or not, but we asked a question about Connor McDavid and you went, Oilers?
Well, I'm not a sports person. The only sport that I have ever like done and actually loved doing was figure skating for like a while.
I'm guessing you must have been enjoying the Olympics right now, I hope.
I've been watching a little bit of it. I've been a little busy with like the semester starting again, but
of course,
whenever I can see like any of the figure skaters, like my mom told me that while one of the Russians who was skating, she did like one of her jumps, but instead of like crossing your arms like this, how you're it's like the best way to do it so that you win, so that you get like more time, and it's like it's the best way to do it. She actually did it with her arms like above her head, and I was like, that's amazing. Oh my God. And I was like, well, yeah, she made it to the Olympics somehow, like obviously. And I was like, that's so cool. Like totally not jealous.
Now you went, I don't want to dredge up anything bad, but we are talking a little bit of gameplay. You end up in a tiebreaker. Without going into the details too much, are you more or less of a fan of the Muppets than you were, say, last summer?
So I've never actually, so I watch a lot of movies, and I actually never really got into the Muppets. Like, it was just not my thing. Like, I would enjoy, like, if someone put on the movie, I'd watch it, but
and
I don't
fair
remember
enough,
much of it.
those guesses were so close together. It could have gone either way. It's not like someone said 25 or 1, right?
Yeah,
So,
I just remember my first instinct was 9, and then I
oh
went, "There's no way they
no.
made 9 of
Oh
these."
no. I'm
And then
so
I just
sorry
went,
to
"No,
hear
I'm gonna
that.
go down." And then I would have, if I did go with my first instinct 9, because it would have been closest higher or lower, I would
That's
have
correct,
passed
yeah.
on. And then I just kind of go like, "Oh, that sucks," but I was playing it like safe, and I'm honestly okay with like how it ended, because I
I'm
just got an amazing experience. I got to be on TV.
well, and I was just saying, like, so you clearly did enjoy your experience then, correct?
Oh yeah.
I'm so happy to hear that. Well, thank you, Cris, for joining us today. We appreciate your sort of behind the scenes message. And maybe we'll get a chance to do it again one day. Just to let our viewers know that you can watch Pop Whiz on Game TV at 7 p.m. Eastern on Sundays and adjust for your time zone. If you can't watch it at that time, you can watch it on the website at igametv.com/pop-whiz. And you also can play Pop Whiz online at popwhizgameshow.com. We're currently in the middle of cycle 2. And you've got about a week or so before cycle 2 ends. So get your entries in there. Thanks very much, Cris, and thanks for popping by.
Thank you.